Good afternoon and welcome back here to Raleigh, North Carolina at the WRAL Soccer Park. We have the men's final of the 2022 Pro Championships. Joined here with Keith Rayner, Madakali Ande. We have an exciting contest here today between New York PoNY and Washington, D.C. Truck Stop.
What a matchup we've got. I mean, PoNY, everybody knows about this PoNY team, and they're bona fides. They are a championship contender, and Truck Stop has been battling their way through. They're coming off a U.S. Open win, and now they're at the Pro Champs trying to make it 2 in a row.
As they're trying to make it 2 in a row here in this one. It should be a back-and-forth contest. We saw the great semifinal matchups here on both sides. Truck Stop was able to have a very clean game in that second half against Ring of Fire. 15 straight clean holds to win the game off a Cole Jurek game winner.
Yeah, what a thrilling end to that one. Cole Jurek with the fantastic sky to finish off that game. Meanwhile, PoNY, they were down. They were trailing against Dig in what would have been a major upset in their semifinal matchup, but came out firing in the second half right out of the blocks and came up with a couple of blocks indeed to get back in front in that one and then take control of the game from there and hold out. But it has not been a perfect weekend for PoNY, much closer to perfection than what we've seen from DC Truck Stop. They throttled Ring in pool play, one of the most shocking results of the tournament thus far, and got a much tougher test from Raleigh in the second time around, but proved themselves to be the better squad with their ability to execute and with some excellent matchup defense.
Yes, both teams ready to leave it all on the line here, leave it all on the field. The men's final coming at you very shortly here.
We see Daryl Stanley, the architect of DC's attack. He's going to be one of the smartest minds in the game and a key factor for them, but he'll be going up against a tough coaching staff on the other side as well. And they helped lead this PoNY team back in front, relying on some of the stars like Ben Yacht. He had a fantastic game, but really it was the defense's ability to get blocks in the second half and the offense's ability to handle some bumps in the road that allowed this PoNY team to be successful against Boston. Marquez Brownlee keying that second half run, followed up by John Randolph's layout block, and PoNY able to seize control. Ben Yacht with the big sky. He has been having a fantastic weekend. I mean, of all the players on the team, he might be the one who's having the strongest offensive season, and that's going to be a player I think they're going to turn a lot to. It's going to attract a lot of attention from the DC defense.
And I've said it before, New York team, someone's got to make that meme where Eli Manning's just closing his eyes, throwing it up to Odell Beckham. It's the same effect there with Ben Yacht. You have him in the deep space, you got to be able to put it out to him in space.
As we take a look at the keys to the game for this one, and PoNY needs to trust their playmakers. They have players like Ben Yacht. You have superstars like Jimmy Mickle. Let those players do their thing. Don't lose faith in them just because there have been some errors and some mistakes as they kind of work their way back into their second season. I mean, they really just played through a world season, had a bunch of players who play in the AUDL, and so for those players, even like their third season, but trust those players to do well and be opportunistic because this is a stingy DC offense. They can be clinical. You got to take advantage of your opportunities. When DC is giving them the disc, PoNY has to make sure they're taking advantage with breaks. DC on the other side, they're going to want to try and slow down those superstars in isolation. And they have the tools to do it. Troy Holland, Alexandre Fall, they have these really tremendous defenders. David Cranston, who are going to be able to contend with PoNY's best athletes. They're going to want to take that away.
Yeah, it should be exciting. If they can kind of seize the moment as well, they've got to be able to capitalize on the moment, DC Truck Stop. And we saw that one there in that semifinal. I mean, they were just firing on all cylinders offensively, and they were able to make it to this moment right now. So you see the huddle, talking, discussing game plan, ready to get out there on the field.
Yeah, both of these teams have been in the final of their previous big tournaments. For PoNY, they emerged victorious at the World Ultimate Club Championships in Cincinnati, and DC doing the same when they were at the U.S. Open.
So Truck Stop looking to don these really clear and evident greens, and PoNY in the whites.
Kind of a minty green, not exactly sure the color you might name that, but they've made it. They made themselves very identifiable with that.
No mistaken truck stop. Looks like Rowan McDonald, Bartlett, Monroe, Jacques Nissen.
Get used to those faces. There's not a lot of changes that this team makes. They run out a pretty tight rotation and trust those players and the chemistry that they've built up to allow them to execute. And they're really playing their own brand of Ultimate. That's one of the things I like about this truck team is they have their own approach. It doesn't quite look the same as everybody else's. Sure, there are some characteristics they've pulled from similar opponents, but they're going to do it their way.
You see the opening pull here of the men's final, and we're off. Truck stop here on offense to begin. See Antoine Davis is going to put on a very active mark. Into Bartlett. Working it down the line in tight space and push in the back. A lot of contact, but Nornbaum able to spring up. So far, good movement here from truck stop. Nissen, a great job of making everyone know that he was poached. Monroe, big around backhand there from McDonald as they're looking to punch it in. And then the high release there, the jerk just short of the end zone.
No one wants to hold the disc for very long in this DC offense. They're going to try and keep it moving.
And Nissen up ahead there for Jurek for goal number 1 here in the men's final.
Close call on the blade that was the hockey assist for that one, but you start to get a sense right away of how DC gets the disc moving, how they attack at shallow lanes. They look reset early, and they trust everybody in the backfield. I think that's one of the things that is kind of a strength of this O-line. Yeah, Tyler Monroe, Christian Boxley, and Cole Jurek provide a lot of the downfield firepower. They're part of the athleticism, but they also can step into the backfield comfortably and make some of the difficult technical throws that this offense thrives on. Of course, they can also make big plays, and Cole Jurek has been on a tear.
He's a primetime performer there in the end, making big plays when it matters the most. Just laying his body on the line there at the U.S. Open. And then once again, just going up and one. Cole Jurek, he's amped up. He is not afraid of the big moment.
Cole Jurek in his first year with Truck Stop, having come over from Minneapolis Sub-Zero. Played his college ball at University of Minnesota, and they call him Beef. And it's grade A out here.
So now our first look here at the PoNY O-line. Now looking for a reset, finally able to find an option down the field. Nice upline cut. Keegan looking for a reset. It's a big around. Still weighing his options there is Chris Kocher. And a little bit of a dangerous bit into the body of Keegan. Keegan all right. Good handler defense in the reset space. Quick turn there for PoNY. Truck stop, an opportunity to capitalize.
Trucks D clamping down in a vital position, able to get them in a high stall count and then apply the pressure. And there's the break.
Quick 2-0 lead here for Truck Stop, and they're amped up here in the men's final.
And that's one place where Truck Stop is strong. We talked in the pregame about them shutting down some of the top athletes, some of the top cutters for PoNY, but they're able already. I mean, they're confident in their ability to match up with PoNY's handlers and challenge them in the reset space. And I'm a big believer that is one of the things that defines elite competition is, can you get off resets against great reset defense? And DC able to get the first blow in that spot.
David Cranston putting off the finishing touches there on that break. Trying to will his team on as they got an early 2-0 lead in this one. You know, in these games, it's both teams really trying to feel each other out, trade punches, trade blows. First on the board there is Truck Stop. Let's see what kind of answer PoNY has.
Well, we know PoNY has the capacity for a comeback. They've proven that a couple different times at this tournament. They're not going to be afraid of a one-break deficit. And Truck Stop knows that too. They know that they can't let their foot off the gas. Not that any team would this early, but even if they build up a greater lead, they know that this PoNY team is capable of real powerful runs.
Big swing over to Harper Garvey. Back to Keegan in the middle. Mickle unleashes a forehand into space. This one will be caught, and that's the score there for PoNY. Chris Kocher into the end zone.
Speaking of powerful, Jimmy Mickle forehand. It doesn't seem like he's doing too much until the disc comes out with a tremendous amount of force behind it.
Just effortless on his release. What looked like maybe an impossible angle. A tight window there for Mickle. Proves us wrong up here.
There's just few throwers who have ever been in the game quite like Jimmy. And well, a big part of that is his ability to put so much power behind his throws, and it adds a lot of options to how he can attack with the disc in hand. You know, a lot of players need a huge windup to be able to make this throw, but Jimmy's able to do it out of a shimmying move around a mark.
Kocher all smiles there as he punches one in and gets the first point on the board there for PoNY.
And the narrative on Mickle, you know, obviously has had a great career. He's going to go down as an all-time great. I don't think there's any question about that. But, you know, people have been kind of willing to pronounce him in decline for a number of years. And it's tough to say. I mean, it's always on the fence. You know, you look at his offensive value, and it's just so high.
Truck Stop, continue to work it down the field. Nice inside throw. Into Monroe. Another one-legged high release. Boxley weighing his options. Finally able to get the swing. And they're electing to go into this small ball game until they get the shot they want down the field. Back across there. Having some trouble on the sideline is Wodach. And I'm not sure if Norbaum was inbounds.
I thought I was in. If you caused the bobble, he caught it in, then bobbled it, and then landed on the line. So if you're okay with you causing the bobble, then he would be inbounds.
Did I cause the bobble? Okay, cool.
We saw that good discussion.
Yeah, Norbaum arguing that the disc was dislodged from his hands, and that's why he didn't make the catch in bounds. It seems like a fair call on his part.
Truck Stop trying to capitalize there on that ruling, and they will punch it in. There for the score is Tyler Monroe. Truck Stop 3, PoNY 1.
We start to see a little bit of PoNY's approach to red zone defense, which is very poachy. They look to jump on lanes, try and surprise throwers when the opportunity arises, and that's something that DC is going to have to navigate. Although one way to get around a big set defense is hit the first throw once you're in the red zone into the end zone. If they don't have time to set it up, it doesn't really matter what they're doing.
Take another look. Boxley, a small man game. And just Monroe able to toe across that line and get the score. There was a good point there, Keith. In that point, Truck Stop really willing to play that small ball game until they get their shot down the field. And the handlers were able to reset it pretty much quickly and effectively.
There's not a team in the division that is more comfortable walking the disc forward You know, there's no antsiness. This is not a team that requires a huck to get in the end zone. They can go a whole game without throwing a huck, really. They're that comfortable with it. And to me, it perhaps harkens back to the small ball days of sockeye. But this is a very efficient attack, and you've got to put the DC O-line as one of the top units in the division right now. There's just no doubt.
That one pulled there by Cody Wood. Sails out of bounds. PoNY, an opportunity to take it to the brick mark. Harper Garvey, the pickup here for PoNY.
And already you can sort of see those isolations setting up for PoNY downfield.
Now looking for Randolph, and Randolph, an uncharacteristic drop, giving a short field here for truck stop.
Typically very secure hands for John Randolph. But even the best can't catch them all.
Now the swing off the sideline, truck stop, inching their way closer to the end zone. And great patience, Cranston. Now looking for the around. Myriad of fakes there from Norbaum. Into Hess, right on the end line, and finds Norbaum there for the score. A break for truck stop. They go up 4-1.
Truck stop, unafraid of the moment. Not a team who has a ton of experience playing in these big finals on big stages. The players on this team necessarily don't have that experience. They haven't been to a lot of title bouts, so to speak. And in fact, have often kind of played the little brother to teams like PoNY. But they do not seem like that is deterring them from being confident in their ability to play at this level against the best when it counts.
As we take our first heat timeout here of the game. Break marks bundles are the best way to get a full affordable ultimate kit for your team. Get a dark, light shorts and a free reversible and get entered to win free team prizes. Everything your team needs to play good and look great. Get your order started at breakmark.com. So Keith, what do you think is going to go on here in this PoNY huddle, down 4-1 early?
Well, PoNY's going to talk about executing on defense, I think. You know, the offense has not really necessarily been a problem. You're not going to go in there and say, hey, John, catch the disc. I think they're going to talk about, hey, how can we stop DC in transition? How can we start to break up some of these connections they're getting in the short field? What can we do defensively to try and turn the tide? But this is not a team that's going to panic. Like we said, we've seen them get out of these types of holes. Sure, do they want to be a team that starts better in the future? Absolutely. But they're not going to back down from this. They're not going to crumble under an early 4-1 deficit.
And so far, 2 total turnovers there for PoNY. 2 for 2 on break chances is truck stop. And that's efficient, and hence why they've got this 3-point advantage. And
Adekala, you were just on the call for the last game, and if I'm not mistaken, somebody took half with a pretty sizable lead. 8-2, if memory serves.
Yes, Hybrid was up 8-2, and Hagen Thrust came back and won that one. So, like I said, it's not over till it's over. As show you the last couple of turnovers there. Great defense by Cranston. And just an uncharacteristic drop. Maybe Randolph looking to turn up field immediately after catching.
And that first mistake is a lot more concerning to me. You know, if you're not going to be able to get your resets free from a pesky DC defense, then it's going to be a long day at the office for PoNY. And they may end up suffering the same fate as Ring 1 or Ring 2, whichever version of Ring that you want to put up here. But that is a space where PoNY is going to be challenged.
Talked about there on the sidelines for PoNY. They're down 3, would love to get a nice clean hold here and position themselves to get back in this game.
Truck D-line back out, sizing up the matchups.
Do you think anything changes here for Truck defensively?
They've got to be pretty happy with how the first part of this game has gone defensively. I think they're going to try and make PoNY respond before they make too many shifts, although you never like to let a team get too comfortable. You got a long break to talk about what you want to do, so you may be able to draw up some more complex schemes than usual.
Nice deep pull into the back of the end zone. Garvey, the center to Mickle. Kocher looking to work and get active quickly. Down the line, working it up. There's Sam Little. Good movement so far from PoNY's O-line. Kocher, nice inside break to Yacht. I love the way the disc has yet to kind of stay stagnant. They've been moving it very quickly.
Yeah, that Mickle-Kocher chemistry is something that I think PoNY likes to fall back on when things are going awry, because you can just add so much value by putting these two together and getting them a lot of interactions.
Mickle creating separation there with that shoulder. Now Keegan. What an upline move there by Mickle, carving up yardage, then working it down to Ben Yacht. Clean offense there from PoNY.
Yeah, strong move by Mickle, who knows, has seen enough tape, has been through enough reps to know that people recognize that he wants to do that curl under the defender move, seal you off with the big body, keep you on the outside shoulder as he catches the short throw. So he just fakes like he's done to do that move, gets Cranston a bite, and then powers upfield for the throw to space.
Another look at it, Mickle. Strong move up line, just simple backhand there to Ben Yacht for the score. As that's a good way to get back in this one, get a clean hold, and then go play defense.
Offense able to get off the field and get the D-line back out. Haven't had a lot of shots at it yet, so I'm sure the D-line is hungry.
Looks like Marquez Brownlee will pull there for PoNY.
And it's pretty common for PoNY to bring over one of the players who rotates in, or even two, from the O-line to the D-line on a lot of points. At this point, it's John Randolph, but we'll see likely Sam Little, Chris Kocher filling in some of those roles, Ben Yacht, players who are likely to play both ways for them, not just on the most important points of the game, almost every point.
See Andrew Roy back here on this O-line point. There's a myriad of fakes there from McDonald. So far, an excellent downfield defense here from PoNY. A tight window. Boxley. As they continue to work it down the far sideline. Nissen. Good help defense by Randolph to stop the give and go. And Nissen turning on a shifty jump cut. McDonald trying to shake loose again, doesn't get open. And now just having to put up a prayer into space to Roy for the score, and that will count there for Truck Stop, 5-2.
And that's really going to sting for Grant Lansley and the D-line. You put all that pressure on, you do such a great job, and then let them get that high stall bailout to the back of the end zone, just not in the right position. And those are some of the toughest plays in Ultimate to walk off the field having just given up.
Yeah, it's got to be extremely deflating there for that defense to work so hard, especially in a tight space like that, and that's the look they get for the score. Just great awareness there from Malks to find Roy in the end zone.
Love to see the poise of Johnny Malks, who's such a young player but plays with wisdom beyond his years. Got a little taste of the John Randolph versus Jacques Nissen matchup too. In semifinals, we got Leo Gordon versus John Randolph. So the Brown boys are out. And Saul Rushmeyer-Bailey also on the opposite side with PoNY. So plenty of BMO to be found here in the semifinals of the men's division at the Pro Championships.
5-2. The score once again, if you're just tuning into this one. Truck stop going up with an early 3-point advantage, 3-1, and as well as 4-1. PoNY looking to battle back in this one slowly, but it's got to start here offensively. Harper Garvey is not bashful when it comes to being an archer with the disc and sending it downfield. Over to Ben Yacht. And Yacht, uncharacteristic, turfing that one. Might have been deflected there on the mark. So another break chance opportunity for Truck Stop. So Musa Dia now looking for an option. Now big around into the end zone for the score. Jeremy Hess, 6-2 Truck Stop.
Yikes. The PoNY off to a rough start, and they just have no answer on defense for DC.
It's just been tough sailing there for PoNY so far in this one. Truck Stop's come out with a game plan, and they've pretty much executed it to perfection so far.
And you want to talk about execution, there's a severe lack of it on New York's side, and our first key to the game was that New York has to make the defense beat them. They are failing on that point, giving away the disc on multiple occasions. And this is a problem that's cropped up for PoNY throughout this tournament. They do look a little bit rusty, but now you're 3 days in, and that excuse is starting to wear a little thin.
And they've got to clean up the mistakes. They've been self-inflicted so far in this one. And a couple of great defensive plays, putting pressure on by Truck Stop, but PoNY has got to clean up those mistakes. Otherwise, this one could get ugly really quickly.
And it continues to, I think a long-term point of concern may be the ability of the O-line to get the disc back. For a team that has a bunch of players that cross over to the D-line, the O-line is not doing a great job after they turn over the disc. And that's something that could come back to haunt them in more important games in the future at Nationals, in games that may decide how their season ended.
Big discussion there in the huddle, trying to talk things out, see if they can change some things up. Now, Keith, this is a question for you. Would you continue to put out the same O-line, or would you mix things up, perhaps to just give a different feel out there and to maybe create some momentum?
Well, it is nice to make the other team have to try and do some different matchups and things like that, but I think they're going to send the O-line back out. You just took a timeout, so your O-line's going to get a chance to rest. This is a good chance for them to be battle-tested, to try and fight through some of the ruts. But if they get broken here, I mean, at that point, I don't know if you can send it back out.
Good plans. We got a good crowd on hand here in Raleigh, North Carolina. WRAL Soccer Park. You see PoNY down 4, the Truck Stop. Defense has been putting it on here so far and capitalizing on the mistakes of PoNY. Wood to send the pull away. Excellent hang time, giving the defense some time to set up.
Nice coverage on the pull as well, so PoNY's not going to get any free ones.
And a great challenge by Cranston, but Nickel found about rearing back for a big backhand. You see how deep the stack of PoNY is set downfield, very close to midfield. This one floating in the area, dangerous, but Randolph, great pursuit of the disc to read it the whole way. Now Randolph setting one up in the air, but great positioning, and an even better read there in the end zone. What a play there by John Lithio.
And the always casual John Lithio with a classy score, and just looks like a walk in the park for Lithio. But it's really Randolph who broke open that play, able to intelligently read his defender in the sideline to shake free on that hanger, and then makes the give-and-go cut that gets him in power position to put that huck up towards Lithio.
Yeah, it may have looked nonchalant and easy, but the degree of difficulty there, that catch, I mean, looked like Frederick Farah had the positioning the whole way on the inside, and Lithio having to make a big play and a strong catch to come down with it. Able to slip there at the end, right on the inside.
Lithio, with a lot less renown than many of the players he shares a line with, but has built up a strong reputation playing with the New York Empire in the UDL. Played club with Tanasi previously out of Tennessee, but in his first season with PoNY and has fit right in.
So that's a much needed hold there for PoNY. Marquez Brownlee to send the pull away once again there for New York. This one landing in bounds to the dismay of the truck stop handlers. Felt like it hit the line.
Yeah, Gus Norbaum's so adamant that the observers are going to make sure to check.
And it will be out of bounds. Roy to pick up at center.
I'm not sure if there is a little more breeze today than there has been the other days, but I've seen PoNY struggle a little bit pulling through the course of this tournament too.
See Maltz there with the disc. Looking for a reset. Nordbaum. Roy finally shakes loose.
Little in the crossover role for PoNY this point.
Jurek. Good movement across the field, opening up the width. And to McDonald. McDonald, a backhand in the space. There for Maltz. Another clean hold there for truck stop. Johnny Maltz racing down the field. 7-3 truck stop.
You don't like to see the O-line with that much energy post-score. That means you didn't make him work hard enough because Maltz still had plenty of juice left. And Maltz, not necessarily an explosive athlete, but he is really intelligent about timing his downfield strikes, and he scores quite frequently for a player who's mostly known for his backfield capabilities. And I think just catching Marquez Brownlee off guard.
And McDonald, just no hesitation, putting that backhand out into space.
Rowan, a wonderful decision maker as a thrower. Not only in his ability to pick the right choice, but to make it happen fast. Johnny Maltz, as his growth as a player, him blossoming into this elite level handler, has been a big part of what's pushed this truck stop team forward.
Yeah, this truck stop team has just been looking like a well-oiled machine here in this game. They've been capitalizing on all the mistakes of PoNY, as well as just continuing to play their game. I think the biggest difference maker so far is that they haven't allowed PoNY to dictate the way they play offense.
Yeah, I mean, this defensive performance has been very impressive for a truck, and we talked about their offensive unit being one of the strongest in the division, but if their defense is going to play like this, you start to wonder about them maybe winning a title.
Working it down the field is Randolph. Now over to Keegan, who made the deep cut. Up ahead to Lithio, trying to toe the back line, and just out in front, not able to corral the disc.
Yeah, Keegan putting a little too much on that, sending it towards the fence. Lithio not able to track it down, and another fairly unforced error on the part of PoNY. They had otherwise met no resistance on that possession.
So another break opportunity here for truck stop, but Lithio stepping in the fray to get the block. Short field now for PoNY. Mickle to Yacht as they capitalize there to get the hold. They're back in this one, only down 3, 7-4.
Yeah, an interception in that short of space is essentially a really long Callahan. I mean, that is, there's not much doubt that that's going into the end zone. It's a matter of time.
Real short field there for PoNY, able to capitalize. Would have loved to see them confidently work it down the field. Maybe a little bit of a gift there from truck stop.
When basketball players are struggling to hit the jump shot, sometimes they say you just got to see a few go through the hoop. And maybe that kind of easy layup is enough to start getting this Pony offense in gear.
Yacht so far here on the day. Goal and an assist. 2 goals and an assist. So another look here at Truck Stop's O-line.
And they've got to be very comfortable right now. I mean, they're operating with no pressure. They got plenty of room. If they do make a mistake, they don't have to panic or anything of that nature. This is an O-line that already plays so well under pressure. Imagine how well they could play with no real weight to carry right now.
Mickle trying to will on his teammates to get back into this one, talking to Lithio.
Conrad Schuler getting ready to pull for the Pony D-line, coming off of his tremendous performance for the German national team at the World Games. Showed himself to be a world-class defender, but also a burgeoning offensive game. He's probably not going to come out and take over a game offensively, but at one point he might have been something of a liability on that end, but now very comfortable around the disc when need be.
Excellent pull down the field.
I don't know if Sam Little just left everyone in the dust or told them all to wait, but he was the first one down there for 4 or 5 seconds.
Malks into Monroe. Jurek now with the disc. Working it down the sideline to McDonald. This one floating could be dangerous, but Jurek able to handle it. Now up ahead to Nissen. So far smooth offense here from Truck Stop.
Great move by Gus Norbaum. A little back pedal after the hard plant.
Now Nissen around to Norbaum, and they continue to work it. Monroe trying to free up, and a blade into McDonald. That's a tough decision right there on the goal line.
Yeah, I'm not sure Monroe ever really looked at his reset, which feels like a fairly, amateur error on his part.
So Pony an opportunity for a break. I believe this might be their first one here of the game.
Antoine Davis shooting deep and pulling a pair of defenders with him, and so Pony's got some room underneath if they can move the disc.
Now an immediate shot looking for Ben Yacht into the end zone, and he's able to corral it with 2. There's a break for Pony. 7-5 is the score.
Yeah, and Yacht in the crossover role on that point along with Sam Little, and you see what that can add to your D-line if you can't get the disc. Yeah, it's going to be tough to tackle. And he's taller than pretty much anybody on the DCO line. And one of the things about being on D-line is you get to dictate the matchups. So if you do get a turn, you have control over who's guarding whom. You can put Ben Yacht on Gus Norbaum and then attack deep if you want, provided that Ben Yacht can bring it on the defensive end, and Pony able to take advantage.
Just a little mental error there from Monroe. Too low for McDonald to handle. And just why not go put it up to Ben Yacht deep down the field.
So will this open up the floodgates for Pony as it did against Dig?
Just one away, Truck Stop looking to take us to half. But Pony doing a good job of battling back into this contest.
Big difference between an 8-5 game and an 8-6 one and a half.
So another look here at the O-line, Malks. Head to Nissen. Big around here for Boxley. Tight catch and window from Monroe, and they're able to keep it alive.
Monroe looking reset very early that time.
Excellent pressure here down the field by New York. McDonald needing some help.
You can see New York's kind of settling into what they want to do on defense. As these DC players are getting closer to the disc, New York's starting to front them more and more. As they move further back, they're starting to back their players to make sure that they have to come under into where potential help could pop off.
Nissen finally able to free up. And then McDonald having a power slide to get the disc. Tight window there for Monroe, but able to get the contested catch. And now DC's starting to finally move the disc around.
And now this is some of the most friction we've seen for a DC offensive possession. New York really trying to pick it up after getting that first break. We'll see if they continue to try and front. You can already see how many players are starting to front in the stack. They want to make DC take a shot. DC's hadn't had to do that really.
McDonald with the disc. Nissen able to keep that one alive there for truck stop.
Yeah, it's again another BMO battle. Saul Rochemeyer-Bailey now taking on Nissen.
And Nissen, and an even better layout there by Malks. Possession once again kept alive.
What a save. I mean, Nissen has been falling all over. I'm not sure if it's the turf or the pressure from SRB, but not able to get free there, but Malks bailing his team out with that layout.
A quick timeout there by Malks to understand how crucial this possession, this point is.
Well, I think you can see from the energy on the field which team feels like they're winning this point, and it's PoNY's defense. DC may have the disc, but PoNY's loving what they're doing out there. They know that if they continue to play at this level defensively, they can turn the tide.
Once again, if you're just tuning in, truck stop up 7-5 currently over PoNY here in the men's final, the 2022 Pro Championships. PoNY able to battle back in this contest.
Our final game of the Pro Championships, 3-day extravaganza here in Raleigh. We've seen some darn good ones out of Kale.
Yeah, it's been a great one so far. I mean, we were able to reveal the field pass there for the first time. That was a exciting little angle there for Ulti-World subscribers.
And there are going to be some very interesting narratives and very interesting conversations in the Ulti-World office when we have to sit down and do power rankings this week, because these results have really turned some things on their head, and you're going to start to have to ask questions about what teams you really believe in.
Malks inside there for Monroe, now to Boxley. Boxley the backhand into Bartlett there for the score. 8-5 truck stop up over PoNY.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised by the decision from the PoNY defense to switch into the junk set when they had been really just tightly contesting and closing windows for Truck on the previous possession. They switch it up, get a little more junky, and Truck just waits for their opportunity and attacks once it's available.
Truck, a little shaky there in the last 2 points, but able to finally calmly walk it up the field and punch it in.
We've seen so many timeouts not work for teams in the middle of play, but Truck really able to take advantage of a PoNY team that made a switch that I just can't condone.
And we'll be back shortly right here on Ulti-World with more of the men's final.
What would it look like if a competitive sport didn't mean a choice? Between beauty and brutality, style and steel. Between calling yourself out and clawing to stay in. What if there was a game that found balance? Between spirit and sport, agony and elation. like a disc dancing on air.
We now have evolved into a team sport of a game called Ultimate.
It stands by itself in that it is like no other game.
Between perfect passes and devastating drops. Like the balance we so desperately needed, we had no choice but to create it ourselves. Long live grit and grace. Long live Ultimate.
And a layout block.
Almost unstoppable. Nickel the Kocher on the back shoulder, no less. Shootout hammers.
Henry Fisher uncorking a big backhand. Taylor all alone.
Cochran has a deflect, but catches on the second effort layout score.
Nickel in the area, he goes up. Jeff Babbitt reels it in. He goes up big and he goes up strong. Mansfield breaking the mark. Hatchet gonna bend a big forehand to the far side.
Oscar delivering that to Cousins.
Out throws the hammer. Ben Spielman with the point block. Mansfield with a big layout block to get it right back. White, big bendy backhand. No one for ring can stop Joe White. Unleashes a big forehand, looking for who else. Can anyone slow down Joe White? White, strong cut. Not many players going to burn Williams like that.
Dances free for the deep throw. Look at that block. Old Jurek, the man they call deep. That's grade A right there. And Vandermortel dials up a bomb on the backhand. Looking for Jurek. Full field. Jurek gets the bookend. Sub-Zero gets the break.
Welcome back here to Raleigh, North Carolina, 2022 Pro Champs, the men's final. Truck stop up 8-5. We'll send it down to Daniel Prentice here with Cody Mills, the PoNY coach.
I'm here with PoNY coach Cody Mills. Cody, rough start for the offense. At times been a theme for you all this weekend. What's going wrong?
I think the offense is not perfect, though they largely play that way a lot of the time, so some of that's within the regular norms of variance for an offense. We've had a busy summer between a lot of the guys playing at UDL and the World Championship, so getting back into rhythm after that, coming back together as a team after a bit of a break definitely plays into it. And we're facing some really good teams who are putting good pressure on us and taking us out of our comfort zone a little bit. So nothing out of the ordinary, just the growing process as we build toward another week.
One team that has looked great on offense in this game and all weekend long, Truck Stop. Defense now has a tall task ahead of them to get those breaks back. How can they do it?
I think the defense is finding their rhythm against a very fast-moving team in Truck Stop. They move side to side really well and take advantage of any margin that you give them as downfield defenders. So if we really get our feet under us and start orbiting quickly, sealing hard on the mark, and taking away those spaces just a little bit extra, I think we can come right back in.
Cody, thanks so much. Good luck in the second half. Back to y'all in the booth.
Thanks, Daniel. As Truck Stop up 8-5, getting some words of wisdom there from Cody Mills. Keith, what do you think is the difference maker so far here in this first half?
Well, PoNY has not been able to execute well on offense, and their defense, particularly their O-line defense, has not really been able to apply pressure on the other end. So they're going to have to turn up the knob on at least one of those things to get back into this game. Not necessarily everything. It doesn't have to be perfect for them to win this game. They don't have to come out and never turn it over again and get a block on every point or anything like that. It doesn't have to be that difficult, but you've got to turn the pressure up somewhere. Either your offense has got to dial it in so that any mistake the opponent makes starts to feel weighty, or you got to start putting on some pressure, forcing more mistakes, and bringing their offense down to your offense's level if your offense is going to play better.
I think the thing to circle there is only one break opportunity there for PoNY. That means just clean offense there for Truck Stop, and Truck Stop 3 for 4 on break chances as well.
I mean, just two turnovers from DC, one for their O-line. That was converted for a break, and one from the D-line. And PoNY's going to need to make that number increase at a higher rate. 2 in the second half, probably not going to do it. In fact, mathematically, I don't think it can. So they're going to have to start to create some pressure, and we saw them do that in the second half of their semifinal against Dig. I mean, they came out of the half, they started ripping the disc away, and if they can find that same sort of rhythm, as Coach Cody Mills indicated that they're starting to feel like they can, then they might be able to turn this game around. I don't think anybody's going to write them off yet.
Yeah, it's a lot of Frisbee left to be played here in this game. As Cody Wood to send it away for Truck Stop. Looks like the same O-line there for PoNY.
And I mean, is there a more battle-tested team than this PoNY unit? I don't think so. You know, from whether it's World Games guys, a World Club title, AUDL champions, previous national champions, college champions. I mean, this team is replete with championship and winning experience. People on this team know how to win, and that's one of their biggest advantages.
Let's see if that translates here to the second half, and let's see if they come out with a little bit of some spark in play and seeing the energy swing.
Yeah, offense would love to settle in, have some nice easy points, get some rhythm going. Mickle being met with Dave Cranston again, a familiar defender. This is not Cranston's first time taking on Mickle, nor the other way.
It's Little able to toe the sideline. PoNY quickly into this small ball dominator set. A little bit of a 3-person weave.
And again, I mentioned it earlier, but PoNY will lean on the Kocher-Mickle connection when they feel like they might need an extra boost offensively.
Foul called down the field. Little discussion there between Keegan and Wood. Mickle around to Keegan. Now trying to strike up line. Good help defense. Having to push Harper Garvey back another 10, 15 yards. Cranston looking to shut off Mickle. Just nothing down the field, but finally able to find an open cutter in Kocher.
And this DC defense really putting in the sweat equity. I mean, they're grinding out there.
Kocher here with the disc, unmarked. Now stepping through and finally squeezes one into Ben Yacht. who's been feasting in the end zone when PoNY has capitalized.
Yeah, tough end to that point for DC's Frederick Farah, who really had a fantastic possession most of the way. Took away a number of looks to Benyat, who I think can kind of be the release valve, the cheat code for PoNY on some occasions. But Farah really mostly able to cut him off, but Yacht unrelenting. And all it took was one mistake from Farah for Yacht to make them pay.
So far, 4 goals here on the day. Take a second look. Kocher unmarked there for a little bit. And is able to step through and squeeze one into Benyat.
And one of the things I think that has hurt Kocher this year is being hurt. I think he struggled a bit with injuries through these past couple of months, and having to play so much Ultimate probably not helping that. But as Kocher gets healthier, we might start to see him reassert himself as he's a former Player of the Year candidate. This can be one of the best players in the division. I don't quite think we've seen him at that level for PoNY yet, but that's something that could be in the cards for them in the future.
Nice hanging pull there for Marquez Brownlee. Just lands out of bounds. So we get another.
I'm keeping my eye on it. The PoNY pulling. It's leaving something to be desired. They're leaving scraps on the table with that.
I was about to say that. Truck stop needs to take advantage there of this field position. PoNY, yeah, they have not been able to kind of leave the pull in bounds and get their defense set up. Currently, PoNY playing a little flat in their marks.
Seeing more of that horizontal movement from DC that Coach Cody Mills was talking about trying to take away.
Good swing to McDonald. Now back around here for Malks. McDonald looking. And inside, that's dangerous, and Antoine Davis runs through to deny it.
We might just, we got to come up with a nickname for him. Run through Davis probably isn't good enough, but it just seems like he's always hitting those.
Just trying to capitalize now. Davis left open underneath, then throws a flick floating into the area and just landing out of bounds. Great help defense there by Boxley.
And not for lack of effort from Jabron Meeser did that go out of bounds. He certainly tried to make a play on it. But first D-line turnover on the second D-line possession for PoNY.
Nissen around for McDonald. He's able to scoop it up and keep possession alive. Someone we haven't called on here on the O-line, Cole Jurek, as he busts deep.
Yeah, I think DC a little intimidated by Antoine Davis' speed because Jurek has gotten maybe 10 yards behind him on a couple of occasions, but DC has chosen to look elsewhere.
Boxley inside, a nice blading flick up ahead to Rowan McDonald. 9-6 truck stop over PoNY.
Nice finish for Rowan, who's been successfully transitioning into an alternative role with this team as his career advances. The player is not exactly a spring chicken. He's been around for quite a while, but has gone from the kind of springy downfield hybrid that we used to see to more of a handler-centric role. Although the further he gets into his career, the harder it is for me to tell him apart from Johnny Malks. And it's not just the hair and the headgear. Their games are starting to converge into these skillful, creative throwers. And McDonald sort of passing the torch to Malks with his truck stop team in some ways, although he hasn't let go of it yet. He's still got some of that fire, too.
That little pretty hockey assist, skinny inside there by Boxley to set that one up. Ron McDonald.
You tell me that's not the same guy. Come on.
As they sit side by side, McDonald and Malks. Very identical, almost like the Spider-Man meme. Looking at each other there on the bench.
But I think this is intentional. You know, I think it's more like not quite Batman and Robin, but maybe Batman and Nightwing if you're a real comic book nerd. We could start talking about it.
So Keegan, the center of the disc now for PoNY. Into Yacht. Yacht needs a reset, finally able to find Garvey. So far, nothing down the field here for PoNY. Mickle surveying.
Jeremy Hess on the mark against Mickle. He's been the other player who's really gotten a shot at Mickle, kind of the backup option to Cranston thus far in the game. Hess out of the University of Maryland just finished a podium appearance season. Despite his team not being able to make the college championships, impressed enough to still be crowned as one of the best defenders in all the land.
Mickle weighing his options, finally finds an underneath, and Kocher. Kocher, nice pump fake to open up the lane. Now Mickle blading one over the top, threading the needle with precision. Right there to Sam Little.
Yeah, Little and Fall having a little discussion afterwards, perhaps about, hey, what level of contact do we feel like is good? How do we want to approach this game? I'd love to see that from players. You know, just saying like, hey, I didn't feel like there was quite a foul, but you know, maybe there's something here that we can do differently. I think that's a very responsible approach for the players. And Little taking advantage of Fall trying to poach off, and he has the help of Mickle to do so.
Just dropping a dime there into the end zone.
And Mickle with the forehand fake underneath, that's enough to draw Fall off. That opens up the room for him to go over the top. And I'm a big proponent that faking is one of the best ways to attack poaches on the other team, and it'll draw them out. Players, you may if you don't know where the poaches are, a hard fake into the throwing space can often show you, because you'll start to see which players are lurking.
So 9-7 is our score in this one in the men's final here in the second half. PoNY slowly trickling their way back into this game. Just out of center to Mox.
We still need to see that D-line spark from PoNY. Offense looking much cleaner, but what can the defense do?
Yeah, it's been a hard task to stop this truck stop O-line. Just been executing. Still only one turnover so far in this game for truck stop.
Yeah, 3 total, and this offense has been almost pristine.
Norbom now beautiful inside here to McDonald. Around here for Roy. Dangerous pass through the middle by Jurek. And a pick was called down the field.
Yeah, you can see there's quite a clump of players around the disc. You can imagine how a pick would be created by this type of spacing.
Yeah, yep, we made it so you can reposition to avoid future picks.
So the disc will remain here with Malks. Roy trying to free up, able to shake loose. Very flat mark. Another pick is called down the field. This will be tapped in. Malks trying to find something down the field, and PoNY's doing an excellent job of really clogging up lanes.
And again, we're seeing PoNY make DC work for it in a way that we didn't see them do in the first half.
And what a great job getting back to the disc And he's fired up. Grant Lindsley.
Lindsley and Roy, two cut alums going at it. And Lindsley gets the better of that one.
Now Lindsley putting up a floating one into space. Kept alive. Oh, and down the line, and great extension to keep that one up.
That one just inches past the bidding defender. I mean, that one was so close to being a turnover in multiple ways.
That was Benjamin Spielman. Now Spielman weighing his options, trying to find an opening. It's cluttered. Backdoor jerk, trying to get the D.
That was an awesome poach by Jurek, but an even better response by Lindsley, showing his experience.
Now going up the line, Jurek getting a hand on the disc. Two truck stop players there to make the play.
Yeah, Spielman fell into the trap there. They were waiting for that upline throw. Spielman immediately recognizes after he lets it go that that was an unwise decision.
A timeout called here by truck stop here on their own goal line. And Keith, now we're starting to get more of that close back and forth battle that we had predicted early on here in this game.
Starting to feel like a bit more of an even fight for the judges as the combatants return to their corners. After a bit more of a lopsided first half, Ponies found their footing and now starting to score some points, land some jabs, but they're going to be looking to try and get some hits in that really could change the tide soon. And this is still a great opportunity. I mean, the D-line has some momentum. They're coming out of a timeout with the opponent stopped on the Coffin corner. This is going to be their D-line is going to want to put their best foot forward here.
We'll have to see Lindsley saying that's all me right there on the block, amping up the sideline. And then trying to go up ahead on the up line. Just two people, Nordbaum and Jurek there to make the play. Malks beyond the disc.
Pony vet Evan Paget on the mark for Malks to start this possession.
Up ahead here to Roy. So continue to work it side to side. Monroe. Now over to Jurek. Now you'll see a little bit more patience here from truck stop to get closer and closer to the end zone.
What I like about the truck stop offense is that despite being patient, they play with a sense of urgency. There's a lot of intention to their movement. It isn't just patient because they're hesitant.
And some contact there near the end zone. And we'll get our first card here of the game.
Number 69.
Looks like the card's actually going to be retracted there. I think Gus Norbaum saying, hey, I don't know if that's a card situation, or hey, maybe you misread that situation.
Norbaum trying to stay with it. Monroe now to Boxley, and they're able to squeeze it in down the sideline. 10-7, truck stop.
Some hesitance now. Players being told to clear the field, and I'm seeing the travel signal pulled out.
I was tricked.
Yeah, I think that the defense has a case there. A couple steps from Monroe in change in direction helps him get off that throw.
Rule not a travel.
Observers don't agree with me, though.
So that one ruled not a travel. We will stand corrected up here in the booth. 10-7, truck stop here over PoNY.
I'll continue to state my case. I mean, I think that Monroe was catching that disc moving at a parallel angle to the sideline, but in his steps after catching it, turned upfield, and that helped him get that throw off. There are plenty of travels that we see called, especially ones that go for assists, that feel insignificant, like they don't matter. They don't really cause an advantage. They're just kind of ticky-tack calls. I don't know if I think that falls in that category.
That definitely led to him getting the leverage and the reach around to find Boxley there for that quick score.
And Truck O-line survives. I mean, travel or not, they did a great job attacking out of that timeout. Push past midfield with great pace and then settled down.
Tough one as we get a second look at the call. It definitely felt like he changed direction. But hey, this is why we don't get paid to be down there and be observers.
Yeah, I mean, it's real easy for us to say from up here.
With slow motion angles. And Hess to send us away.
It's interesting that we this is a couple deep points in a row where we haven't seen David Cranston, who's been kind of marshaling the D-line for Truck.
Garvey racing deep downfield. Yacht here with the disc. And has been real physical here with Jimmy Mickle.
And Mickle is very used to that. I mean, if you talk to him about being marked, people body him up all the time because he's so big.
Inside to Lithio. Lithio needs a reset. Garvey trying to open up. Nothing downfield as a pick is called. Big around into Little. A couple of players falling down, some contact.
Back there, though. It was before it's before the throw, though. No, offensive foul.
I'm not sure. I guess Keegan's not contesting. I thought Rafus just looked away from Keegan, started looking back at the disc, and then tripped over Keegan. I don't know that felt like that was offensive foul, but again, I'm not on the field.
So the disc will be sent back to Little.
I'm not one of the 18 people at this moment empowered to make a call.
Finally able to get the around to Kocher. Just nothing down the field. PoNY really wanting to work it throughout those handlers in the backfield.
You're getting wide cuts out of the front of the stack, and then other cuts just going deep at straight angles from closer to the back, and they've not been able to break free for any of these deep looks.
Mickle down the sideline, finding Yacht. Back to Mickle here in the center. Puts one up for Yacht.
And you can see the difference in style of offense based on how long the disc is in the hands of players. On PoNY, it's a little more frequent to see them get into the stall 5 to 8 range.
Mickle busting down the field. Great upline now, up ahead to Ben Yacht. Small ball working out there for PoNY as they get back on the board.
Small ball, but finishing with the big man. Getting it into Yacht for another score. Yacht having another strong outing and asserting himself as one of the best offensive players in the game.
Ben Yacht, just a tough cover. He's got 5 goals here on this game.
And we got a lot of Yacht. 4 goals for Ben in this one.
Some might say it's a Yacht party. Ben Yacht has been in a handful of plays down the field in short spaces.
I've never been to a Yacht party, but PoNY seems to go to them pretty often.
Ben Yacht up in space as well down the field. I mean, for a guy that big to move so quickly, it's a tough cover.
And he's just improved his ability to play in small spaces over the years. He's obviously gotten better as a defender and a thrower too. But, you know, before he was more of a jump ball guy and back to his younger days with Grey Duck. But has really become a much more well-rounded player. And that's important. I mean, his ability to be an effective offensive player has always made him successful on that end. But his increased ability defensively allows you to engage him more frequently in important offensive points because he can go out on defensive points.
So just like that, I mean, Ben Yacht 5 goals and Jimmy Mickle 5 assists as well. Malks to center the disc at the brick mark.
That was PoNY's best out-of-bounds ball.
Up ahead to Roy. The travel was called on Roy. Big around, floating into space. Boxley able to toe the line.
Very little room, but Boxley showing off the agility.
And a great hand block there on the mark. Boxley running out of options, had to do a little backhand.
Yeah, that's one of the more difficult options in that situation for Boxley, trying to throw that backhand to the forehand side where the mark can kind of stab out at it. You might see players go to forehands here, but you also might see them try the offhand backhand, anything that allows them to reach further past the mark. That throw does not offer a lot of that option.
So break opportunity now for PoNY. High release backhand to Brownlee. Back to Randolph. PoNY electing to go small ball here. Nothing really down the field. Some contact. We're going to have a foul called.
PoNY 1 for 3 in break chances in this game. But the defense has certainly had a much stronger second half.
I mean, it doesn't.
Okay. So, foul contest.
I want to go to you.
Okay, observer ruling. He's good.
Okay.
You're stepping in front of him. Coming in 1.
Good spirited discussion there between Brownlee and Malks.
Granson out on the O-line point. Maybe that's why he's moving over from the D-line to help secure things for the O-line. And this is the situation they got him out there for. Another stoppage.
I want to keep these so bad.
But players come into a quick agreement once the issues at hand are brought to light.
So this back to Randolph. Good movement to shake loose. There by Grant Lindsley. Now Lindsley up the line. This time will collect the disc, but it's just short of the end zone. And another sneaky inside handoff there to Conrad Schlort.
And that's where you see the progress in Conrad Schlort's game, is that type of cut. I don't think that he had that as part of his game 3 seasons ago. But now able to get back in the handler space and get creative, operate in small spaces, and do so confidently.
So just like that, it's a 1-point contest here in this one, Keith. The men's final. Finally, both teams waking up.
Yeah, feeling like we might get some real drama down the stretch as both of these teams have shown a penchant for it. And PoNY is a team that can play from behind very well, but Truck has shown that they can fend off the best.
So replay. It's a quick strike up line, beating Nissen into the spot. So now we've seen Truck's O-line face some real adversity here, and let's see how they kind of come back from the last couple of breaks by PoNY.
And PoNY's still using their depth. We're not seeing a lot of the same folks going out there every point. They turned to some new faces in the second half. We're starting to see Evan Padgett and Clark Kofer getting more reps. Jeffrey Holm.
I think the difference maker is PoNY's playing locked up defense, but as well down the field. We have not seen many deep looks here by Truck Stop.
I'm not even going to say anything.
So another pull goes out of bounds there for PoNY. Malks, the center here at the brick mark. And now a deep look looking for Cole Jurek in the end zone. And Jurek able to read it all the way. That had to have been a set play. 11-9 Truck Stop.
The rare huck from Washington, D.C. Truck Stop. That is not their game, but they can do it. Make no mistake about it. If you give it to them, they have the ability. I said I wasn't going to say anything, but look, you give a team great field position like that to run a set play from the middle of the field. You think that play would have been a lot harder to run in flow coming from the sideline? Probably. And PoNY pays the price.
Yeah, it must be listening to the broadcast down on the field, calling for a deep look immediately, and Jurek had the separation. Why not put it down the field to him?
So Cole Jurek gets in the end zone for his second trip. And he's shown he's got a bit of that clutch gene. Team needed a score right there.
It's huge there for Truck Stop. So look at Beef, Cole Jurek, Minnesota product.
DC Ultimate, on the men's side is fighting to get to that elite level. They've been a consistent group, but
now Mickle sends one deep into space. Will have enough room, and Kocher not able to get it and keep the possession alive. Very close to that line. That would have been a close one if he had completed it.
I mean, that would have been the play of the weekend if he had completed it. A full stretch, full sprint layout toe in on the back cone. I mean, you would have caught that on SportsCenter if he comes down with it.
And he did get a toe in, just not able to keep possession alive with the catch.
Kocher, one of the few DC connections really on this New York team. Played his.
Oh, that's awkward.
I mean, it could be flat.
So I believe an injury was called, and we'll get some substitutions.
Yeah, Kocher playing at George Washington.
Nice dig up there. Still looking to grind it out. Back to Bloodgood.
Bloodgood being covered by Keegan. He also a former Truck Stop player.
discussion as to where the dish should be tapped into. Back to Bloodgood again. You hear the sidelines and the crowd yelling, throw it. It's Truck Stop really trying to surgically work their way up the field.
And PoNY able to put them in a high stall situation, but Bloodgood able to squeeze free. But now approaching the red zone. Truck Stop able to get a break to put a dent in this PoNY comeback attempt.
Pretty inside now, the around backhand for the score. There in the end zone. I think that is Musadia there for the score.
Yeah, Troy Holland hitting Musadia on the break that pushes the lead back out to 3. Truck Stop defense showing they're not done yet.
So I believe we will also be going into a heat timeout as we take a second look. Nice inside by Bloodgood. And Musadia in. Just great selling there at the end, pumped up. And then the emphatic spike there at the end by Holland. Putting his staple there on the game.
Yeah, it was a team effort for DC to get that break. So why not make the spiking a group activity as well?
Breakmark wants to give away 1,000 reversibles to the Ultimate community. To get yours, order any of their 3 new piece bundles, getting you a full kit as low as $75. Go to breakmark.com to start getting your free reversibles today. So you still have a really good crowd on hand. Keith, what are your thoughts on the Rhino hats?
I'm for them. I actually talked with one of our fellow commentators, Daniel Prentice, about the Rhino hat, and we believe it to be inspired by the famous orange beanie of Timmy Purston. And so I love that it has a backstory in the history of the teams. So I'm definitely a fan.
So we'll be back shortly right here on UltiWorld with more of the men's final.
The last 50 years have seen a lot of positive change
around a whole range of important issues.
And some things remain reassuringly unchanged.
Like the spirit of our game.
Ultimate is 50 years young.
And still a perfect circle.
Of fair play,
athletic pursuit,
and camaraderie.
In fact, Ultimate was a social network.
Before social networks even existed.
Respetamos nuestras diferencias.
And understand the value that they add.
The revolution of the disc in flight continues to prove
that there's nothing we can't achieve
when we
pull together.
Long live Ultimate.
Larga vida Ultimate.
Long live Ultimate.
Welcome back here to Raleigh, North Carolina. If you're just tuning in, the men's final, Truck Stop up 12-9 here over PoNY. Joined here with Keith Rayner, Adekale Ande here on the call. Full stands there in Raleigh, North Carolina, the WRAL Soccer Park. Fans out in support watching this exciting final. It's been mostly all Truck Stop, PoNY battling back, but Truck Stop pulling away here in the last couple of points.
Pretty much the final half, really even the final quarter. I mean, you could say the third quarter is just about over. We're going into the fourth, and this will wrap up action at the Pro Championship. So everybody pretty much converging to watch how this final is going to close out. Look at the stats, and PoNY's starting to get a couple more break chances. They're forcing some of those turnovers that we didn't see them get in the first half, but still trailing by a 3-goal margin, in part because that break that Truck Stop was just able to land. You know, I mentioned earlier about a little bit of history for DC Men's Ultimate, this Truck Stop team that you know, Keegan and Kocher were both a part of. Keegan, a member of the nascent team, but replacing Potomac, the men's team who Coach Ben Van Hovland from New York PoNY was a part of. It's a part of those old Potomac teams, and that team replaced E-Pig. But those teams never really felt like championship contenders, and I think that Truck Stop's been cast in the same light for a number of years. And this team this season, this might feel like their best shot to really be a title contending team. And a lot of these players are young too. This could be the start of something for Truck Stop this season.
It's an excellent pull down the field, really deep. Now Randolph, able to work it over to Yacht. Now over to Keegan. Lithio trying to make something happen. Very tight angle. Keegan elects to fire one down the field to Yacht once again. Yacht punches it in there for PoNY.
A great one possession hold for PoNY on that one, and I think that was Truck Stop's like A line. Like this is the D line we want to throw at you. These are the matchups we want. We want Troy Holland on Chris Kotcher. We want Dave Cranston on Jimmy Mickle. We want Frederick Farah on Ben Yacht. This felt like this is our best group. If we're PoNY to just walk out there and punch in a confident score, I think that's a great building block for their offense.
I know Ben Yacht's number says 69 there, but we've got to change his number to 711. Just always open. Always open in the end zone, and it seems he's always the finisher there for PoNY.
Well, he's finished 6 of their 10 goals, so you're basically mathematically accurate on that. He has been around the end zone frequently, and even when Truck's done a good job, he still managed to score.
So 12-10 is our score currently here in this men's final as we approach soft cap on a little bit under 4 minutes. So a lot more pressure has been applied so far by PoNY's D-line, especially here in the last couple of points. It's not been easy for Truck Stop. And they're going to give Keith an aneurysm up here in the booth with another pull sent out of bounds.
It's just free equity that they just refuse to take.
So Malks center of the disc to where it went out of bounds.
I mean, go back and calculate how much yardage, free yardage, DC has had this game.
And now an immediate deep look to the end zone for Boxley. Truck Stop is pouring it on. 13-10.
And Truck Stop continues to do a good job capitalizing. They are making them pay for these pulling mistakes. That's the second straight Truck Stop 0 point that has lasted a single throw, starting at a favorable field position, easy shot for Malks into the end zone for score. And the PoNY cannot continue to afford this. There's only 2 points remaining in the game for Truck.
Malks has had the green light to match the green jerseys. And find Boxley there in the end zone. All smiles there for number 31.
And right now, PoNY's defense is not even giving themselves a real chance. But DC's earned it. I mean, they've had this advantage because of their own work. And now it behooves PoNY to have to make the comeback. The onus is on PoNY to do something because Truck is just in control.
Boxley, 2 goals and 1 assist so far in this game, and PoNY just bewildered there on the sideline looking, or on the line, excuse me, looking at Mickle, Kotcher, and Yacht. It's got to start on offense. They've got to take care of the disc and punch it in, but the defense has no answer so far here for Truck Stop.
PoNY's offense looking to get on and off the field quickly so the D-line can get back out there and do what needs to be done to get them back in this game.
Garvey being pushed back towards the goal line. Hess has been doing a pretty decent job here on this Mickle assignment.
I mean, aside from Ben Yacht, is there anybody on the PoNY O-line you feel like has had a particularly strong effort in this one? I wouldn't say so, and I think it's a lot of credit to this DC defense.
DC defense has been excellent. Now there is Ben Yacht. Finally able to find Mickle. Now he shoots one deep into the end zone. And that was basically a layup over to Keegan. They get one back on the board, 13-11.
All right, so if we do the autopsy on that score, it doesn't take much to find where the source of the problem was. Getting into a high stall count, Ben Yacht, who into a high stall count because didn't have a lot of downfield targets. Without many downfield options, he looks backwards. But DC, recognizing that there are not a lot of places for Yacht to go upfield, he's going to have to reset, poaches off to try and take away the reset from Mickle. But after that poach, that freed up Keegan. Keegan takes off, and the defense has to try and figure out how to cascade the switches. You know, how to rotate, if you would, to pull basketball parlance, how to rotate through that situation, hand down, man down. But they never really could. And so Mickle has a freebie for Keegan to hit. A gamble that's probably worth it, in my estimation, for DC. But you'd love to see them be able to finish off that rotation effectively.
Mickle dropping dimes. All on the field here today. 6 assists so far in this game.
Yeah, it's it's a very Jimmy Mickle thing to be able to put up 6 assists, and it feels like a little bit of a quiet game for him. He's really had to work to get free, but once he gets a disc in his hands, he's still Jimmy Mickle.
Yeah, Cranston and Hess have done an excellent job of containing him as much as they can. You know Jimmy Mickle's going to get his.
Oh, I think we might get one.
So we have our first pull that we've seen in the last couple pulls inbounds. There for PoNY. Monroe, we're going to move the disc now here for truck stop. Nissen weighing his options. Just nothing down the field. And look at Jurek has garnered that Yacht matchup. Up ahead to Nissen.
Matchup right here. I think ducks are usually social creatures, so I don't know how aggressive they're going to be against one another.
Some contact between Norbaum and Randolph.
Norbaum and Randolph also familiar foes after Norbaum finished up his college career at Northeastern, so they've been battling in the New England region this past year.
So the majestic flow there of Andrew Roy.
I'm sure he'll appreciate that comment.
Still having this discussion. Looks like the disc will be coming in on 6.
Kocher crossing over with Yacht for this D point, as well as Sam Little. So a number of O-line guys should PoNY be able to get the disc.
Malks, who's had a big green light here in the second half, needs a reset, finding McDonald. Outside here to Monroe, a hot pass there from McDonald. Big around here to Nissen.
PoNY is really tightening the screws in the backfield, but DC just seems unfazed.
Inside here for Norbaum once again. And a pick call down the field. Up ahead to Nissen. Now looking for Monroe, and he's able to put on some hustle and get to the end zone for the score. 14-11 truck stop.
Cap going on during that point, so we will stick to a game to 15. PoNY's in quite bad shape. We've seen them make some pretty strong comebacks, but this one would take the cake for the weekend.
Take another look. Nissen finding Monroe. Looked like Monroe may have to lay out for it, but really turn on the Jets there at the end, the last couple of steps. Yeah,
coming out of that stoppage, the shot over to set up that breakthrow was just too easy. I mean, that lane was just too big. Kocher couldn't really recover it, and that's going to make the continued throw to Monroe an obvious option.
Monroe as well having an impact here on this game. 2 goals and 1 assist.
So New York backs up against the wall.
Need an answer. They've got to make a stand. It's got to be now.
The O-line's been much stronger in the second half than what we saw in the first half.
That's a good point, Keith. PoNY a lot cleaner with their movement of the disc, and the offense looks a lot cleaner.
But it's going to come down to the defense at this point. They're going to need to start piling up takeaways against an offense that has been so stingy.
So Cody Wood to pull it away here for truck stop. See the sideline there. Marquez Brownlee, PoNY. Itching his way. Probably wanted to make an impact here in this game. Game to 15.
Yeah, a little timeout there to let the anticipation build.
Keegan here with the disc. Yacht on the far sideline. Needing an outlet, having trouble, and a great layout attempt, but Harper Garvey able to keep possession alive.
Yeah, New York not able to take advantage of that opportunity.
And an even better layout there by Farah to get the disc back. Short field now for truck stop. Now around there in the end zone, Musa Dia. That's game 15-11 truck stop over PoNY as they win the 2022 Pro Championships.
Truck stop. On a roll. The truck is moving right now, and you do not want to be in the way. That's exactly how they want to finish the game, with the defense making a statement. Frederick Farah comes up with the layout block, and the D-line gets to punch in the break, and that is a confident win for DC, who now has won both the U.S. Open and the Pro Championships.
And that, not only confident, that is just a statement. If you didn't know about truck stop, now you know.
Yeah, and really for both teams, this says something. Not only is truck stop here to compete. I mean, they are not going to give anything to anybody. But PoNY, a team that was the easy favorites to win the title coming into this year, you got to start having some doubts. Not because they're losing games, but the way they're losing games. I mean, this looked like a team that did not value this opportunity. They made too many mistakes that were very avoidable. They left a lot of advantages out there for truck stop. Truck stop was happy to take them. And I'm not just talking about the bullet. I mean, there were just other areas of their game in which PoNY was not clean, and they didn't really play with a sense of urgency.
And take a look. 8 total turnovers there for PoNY, and only 2 for 4 on break chances. Truck stop didn't give them any room to work with defensively. Clean offense there for truck stop.
Truck stop generates more break chances. They're more efficient with their break chances. Their offense is more efficient. I mean, they outplayed PoNY in every way in this game, and that's why they won by 4.
Very evident right there. And it's just so difficult to come back in a game where you can't create break opportunities. When an offense like truck stop is playing so well and they're moving the disc so well, and the times you do make them make mistakes and you don't capitalize on it, hence why the score is a 4-point advantage.
Team from the nation's capital showing they can capitalize. And now DC is asserted themselves. I mean, we could find them at #1 in the power rankings next week. Did you have that on your predictions list, your bold predictions before the season, that DC Truck Stop would be the #1 team in the division?
I mean, you've got to believe the hype right now in Truck Stop, Keith.
Yeah, I mean, we knew they had a great offense. We saw it at the U.S. Open. We knew they had a great offense, although it was great to see them be able to do that against some of the best defenses they're ever going to come across. But the D-line showing off that they can go out and make breaks. And now we're going to go and talk to the architect of this great DC team, Daryl Stanley. He's with Daniel Prentice on the sideline.
Here with DC coach Daryl Stanley. Daryl, I saw you celebrating after that break to win with your assistant coach, Alex Crew. Elation is the word I would use to describe it. What does this win mean to you?
I mean, it's kind of unreal because, like, this season, coming into this season, I've never won a Triple Crown anything. And for us to go to U.S. Open and you know, play strong, but everybody kept saying, well, what about, you know, Ring? What about Sockeye? What about Rhino? And, of course, what about PoNY? So for us, you know, we haven't beaten PoNY in 4 years. I mean, it's just a really incredible feeling to come out here on this stage and avenge that, you know?
Yeah. Incredible performance all weekend long. Offense was unstoppable at times through all kinds of pressure. Is this the best Truck Stop has ever been under? I know you've been head coach a while. Is this the best you've ever seen the team?
Yeah, I mean, there's a certain just like togetherness, resiliency, and like I think it's just a bunch of people who've been working together in different pockets, just coming together all at once. So I think we've been this talented absolutely before. I think this team works well together in a way that, you know, they're just having a lot of fun, a lot of age mixing. It's just very special because of that, and I'm really just I couldn't be more proud for those guys, and that's why that elation came out. So
this is now second Triple Crown Tour win of the season after winning U.S. Open as well. How high can this team go?
I mean, yeah, I mean the bar's here. Like, you know, we haven't played Machine yet, we haven't played Sockeye yet. So I think those are two teams that we definitely want to see. We're not really sure. I mean, those guys present different challenges, and I mean, coming into the season, you look at those top 4 teams, you know, including Rhino, and you say, like, what are we going to do to solve those guys? We keep finishing 5th. So I really got to see those guys, and then I'll know. But, I mean, obviously the ceiling is very high.
Daryl, thanks so much for your time. Congratulations. Back to y'all in the booth.
Thanks, Daniel. Now, and hearing Coach Stanley talk about it, they want all the smoke right there. They want to see Machine. They want to see Sockeye. They're not scared. Who's next?
Yeah, not a lot of things are going to generate more smoke than a truck, you know. A fantastic performance from Truck Stop. Daryl Stanley with every reason to be proud and to brag about this team. And he's right. I mean, they play really well together. These are the pieces of the puzzle coming together to really make this team look great. They're playing at a level higher than the sum of its parts.
Yeah, just an overall great game, back and forth. But Truck Stop just overall coming up on top, 15-11. You see some highlights. Maltz celebrating. Great defense there by Lindsley.
And a fitting end, a strong end to a wonderful Pro Championships. And we appreciate everybody who's been able to join us throughout this presentation from UltiWorld. It has been wonderful having you, and for all the subscribers, we greatly appreciate your support. If you want to support the work that we're doing, ultiworld.com/subscribe. Found out all the great benefits that you can get as a subscriber to help us continue to keep doing this work. You know, I've loved being able to be a part of this, and we have a great crew and a sizable crew here helping bring this to you. So for all our producers and our camera folks who never get the shine, thank you for their hard work. Another great weekend for Team UltiWorld.
That's it here from Pro Championships. The final Truck Stop 15-11 here over PoNY. Thanks to Keith Riener, Adekali Ade here on the call. So long here from UltiWorld.